Watch this.
He just was on fire for everything.
This weekend marks 1 year since Deputy Tobin Bolter with the Ada County Sheriff's Office was shot and killed in the line of duty. Today, his wife, Abby, reflects on the man he was. Nampa celebrated the anniversary of their creation, so how were they created and where's the word Nampa even come from? We'll dive in on this Friday. And speaking of celebrations, you all had a lot to say about the 100th anniversary of the Boise Depot. We're sharing your comments and favorite memories from the birthday bash that was. Sunday marks 1 year since 27-year-old Ada County Sheriff's Deputy Tobin Bolter was killed after being shot during a routine traffic stop. His death was the first line-of-duty death in the history of the Ada County Sheriff's Department. Today, our Aspen Shumpert sat down with his wife, Abby Bolter, who opened up about their journey together and her life without him.
Young us were goofy and fun, and it was a blast.
Tobin and Abby Bolter's story began at church when they were just 13.
I definitely did not have necessarily an eye for him from the beginning.
Abby says it was always a playful, easy friendship.
We played tag and hide go seek and, you know, classic 8th grade stuff. And then throughout high school, just we're best friends, just taking time to be together and grow in friendship.
A connection that became undeniable.
We always kept telling people, we're not dating, we don't like each other, we're not dating. Everyone looked at us like rolling their eyes, you guys are dating.
In 2014, they finally went on their first official date in high school. Grandma snapping a picture and sending the high schoolers off on a day neither would forget.
He went to go pay, his card was declined. And so he had to call his mom and say, Mom, I need you to put money on my card, and then I need to pay for food. And so forever and always, I gave him the hardest time with that.
Abby says she always knew Tobin was special.
We just had so much fun together. And that's the point of, at least for us, dating, wanted to get into marriage.
She says law enforcement wasn't just Tobin's career, it was his calling.
He lived and breathed it. It was a passion of his. He wanted to serve the community. He wanted to, put bad guys away and then uphold the good. He was like, this person changed. This was good. This was helpful.
The two got married in 2018, just days after he graduated from the police academy.
It made me proud. It made me want to research. It made me want to just know what a police wife is, what that role looks like.
A role she embraced.
You got to kind of have thick skin and know what's coming.
From the beginning of their marriage, Tobin prepared Abby for the risks of his profession.
There was a woman officer that died in Sacramento. He specifically took me to that funeral and sat down with me on our drive home and said, okay, this was a big funeral. Mine could be this big. And we literally walked through what his funeral could look like. That was our first year of marriage.
Abby says those conversations, though difficult, have helped her navigate the past year without him. Deputy Bolter was shot and killed in the line of duty last April.
It feels like yesterday still. It's crazy, it's been a year. Part of grief I've learned in talking with Cheryl Stahl and other widows, walk through that. You're gonna have the emotions, and that's okay.
In hard moments, she leans on her faith, something she and Tobin shared.
That's his core. That is who he was. Christ follower. Me getting through it is, okay, cry for a moment and then just pray, okay, Lord, I just need your presence. I need you to sit with me. I need you to help me get through this.
She also leans on support from her family and community.
The best way I've kept saying it is everyone was God's hands and feet is literally how it's mind-blowing. It's truly still speechless.
Now, as she watches their daughter grow, Abby hopes the community remembers more than just the badge, but the man who wore it.
I hope people remember his heart for the Lord, first off. Then his smile, because that's true. I'm praying Hallie has his smile, and it seems like she does. She wakes up happy. And then have a passion for law enforcement, and through that, maybe just a little remembering of Tobin while you're at it.
This weekend, Abby will honor Tobin by baking his favorite naked chocolate chip cookies without chocolate chips. And then Monday, she'll be attending a vigil with law enforcement, their community that has become family, she says to her. Now, Joe, she really wanted to emphasize the rest of the community that really rallied behind her during this time. She said financial donations really helped them out. She says even sometimes still when she stops into places like Hobby Lobby, someone will offer to buy her order.
We've seen the community, such great support. It's hard to believe it's been a full year. I remember watching that memorial service from Nampa and just how touched the entire community was. And everyone you speak with a member of the Ada County Sheriff's Office who knew him, they all just had just the most praise that you could ever hear about a sheriff deputy.
Yeah.
Tobin is certainly missed. Well, Aspen, thank you so much for that look. Well, Congress is on a spring break of sorts, so many members are back home in their districts. It's a wild time in Washington. Seems like there are like 5 breaking stories a day there. And this Sunday morning on Viewpoint, my guest, Idaho Congressman Mike Simpson, he joins the show to help explain what some of the major stories mean for Idaho. And Congressman Simpson, you may not know this, he worked as a dentist with his father and uncle at Simpson Family Dental in Blackfoot, Idaho, before he kicked off a career in politics. And his previous profession, that ties into a headline that you might have seen. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s conversation about adding fluoride to water supplies.
Suggested that he wants fluoride removed from water supplies, in cities that have adopted fluoridated water, that he wants all the fluoride out and stuff. And we'll have some good questions on that because having been a dentist and seen the effects of fluoride and what it does to prevent dental caries is amazing. And it was voted as one of the 10 top discoveries, medical discoveries, in the last century. And so, it would be an interesting discussion with him and stuff.
All right, so a little more background on fluoride in drinking water. So state and local governments get to decide if they want to add fluoride to their supply, and they can't just add beyond whatever they want. There's a maximum level set by the EPA, and these days it's 4 milligrams per liter. But RFK Jr. could tell the CDC to stop recommend doing it. He could also potentially tell the EPA to change that maximum limit. The guess would be lowering it. Idaho Health and Welfare says that in some areas of Idaho, the natural level of fluoride in water is enough to reduce the risk of tooth decay, cavities. Other areas in our state, though, they do need a little more fluoride to reach the optimal amount. If you're curious, Health and Welfare has all the water supply statistics on their website. The city of Nampa celebrated its 134th birthday this week, and today we're going to give you a little history of how the largest city in Canyon County came to be. It's this week's 208 Redial.
As was the way in the Old West, the railroad resolved where cities would spring up. And in the early 1880s, the Oregon Short Line was finally finished in southwestern Idaho. It went from Weiser to Wyoming by way of Caldwell and what would be soon known as Nampa, a piece of property in which 3 men saw potential. James McGee, who lived up the line in Caldwell, got together with Alexander Duffs, a local businessman, and one James Stewart from Portland. And they decided developing another railroad town was a good investment. So in 1885, Duffs filed a claim under the Idaho Homestead Act, and he got 160 acres at $1.25 apiece. On September 8, 1886, McGee and Duffs formed the Nampa Land and Improvement Company, and they filed for incorporation. Those 160 acres were then parceled into lots. However, those lots left little room for vices. Being a religious man, Duffs wouldn't sell to anyone wanting to build a saloon, earning the town the nickname New Jerusalem. Well, that pub prohibition wasn't very well imposed because within 2 years, 3 of the city's 28 businesses were bar rooms. Then, as a sort of dismissive act to Duffs, when the family home was moved 21 years later, a brewery was built in its place. Now, what about the railroad? Well, at the time, Boise was snubbed by the Short Line, but eventually, the Idaho Central Railway connected the eventual capital city to Nampa, a junction that would turn Nampa into a jumping, upcoming city.
Nampa wasn't technically a city until April of 1891 when they put the government together, but they kept the name Nampa. And even though there isn't a definitive explanation of where they came up with the name Nampa, some say that it was named after a Shoshone-Bannock chief. They also wanted a memorable name so people would know it on the railroad stop. And that railroad that Brian Holmes just referred to led to another building that had a big celebration this week. The Boise Train Depot turned 100 years old on Wednesday, and to honor that iconic Boise building, we dedicated our entire show to the depot's birthday celebration. You heard the bell ring. A lot of you shared some of your favorite stories of the beautiful building, and we wanted to share some great community stories like this one. My husband's grandparents had their first date to the opening of the depot. It was quite the event for the time. The men grew mustaches and beards just for the event, which took quite some planning, and they wore top hats and carried canes. The women were dressed with the headdresses and boas that could only be found with the 1920s flair. Apparently, this was Joe R. Williams, the longest-serving statewide official in Idaho. Sounds like it was a good first date because they later got married. Jody said, in 1958, my family moved from Nebraska to the state of Idaho. I was 4. I remember that wonderful ride, the dome car, the sleeper car, the conductor, the porters. We arrived in Boise at night, and it seemed the street lights sparkled all the way to the Capitol building. It was a wow that I can still see in my mind's eye. And finally, Teresa wanted to know what the dolphin on the sticker has to do with Boise. Hunter Funk actually explained that this week.
If you want a sticker for your car, Boise OG owner and designer Kelly Knopp has just the thing after he created this sticker in partnership with Lisa Frank, the woman known for creating legendary school supplies.
All right, so the dolphin doesn't have a specific Boise tie, but that symbol it's a legendary Lisa Frank symbol, and she does all kinds of colorful animal designs for kids. If you're 90s kids, you know Lisa Frank was the most in vogue thing ever. So yes, the dolphin's just a classic there. We hope you enjoyed the celebrations this week. In case you missed the live celebration on Wednesday, you can go back and watch the episode or some of the features. You can share it with your friends and family. You can also find other 208 episodes on demand. KTVB Plus, you can download on your TV and watch for free. Do you have any more fun stories about the depot or really anything across the 208? Well, you can text them to us at 208-321-5614. Please include your name and hashtag the 208. That way we can show them live at the end of the show. And next on Beyond the 208, a Washington firefighter is packing his gear for a mission abroad. He's heading straight into the war zone in Ukraine to help train fellow firefighters. Today on Beyond the 208, we're taking you to Kitsap County, Washington, where a firefighter is headed to Ukraine to help train first responders in their battle against the Russian invasion. Eric Wilkinson from our sister station in Seattle has this story.
The sort of training that firefighters do here in the Pacific Northwest actually corresponds perfectly to the sort of skills that first responders need every single day in the war zone in Ukraine.
And I connect that like that.
Kitsap County firefighters train for the unexpected. They are skills soon to be transferred to emergency crews in Ukraine battling the unthinkable.
Need is tremendous, right? That there are civilians caught in the crossfire of this war every day.
Cool. You want to try him? Try it out.
This is the same training firefighters from Polsbo will be conducting in Ukraine all next week. Technical rope rescues from collapsed buildings. Here, the cause could be a natural disaster, but this training will soon be used to combat a disaster that is entirely man-made.
Rescue is rescue, right? Whether the building is collapsed because of an earthquake or because of a missile strike, the work is the same.
This is Jake Galander's second such mission to Ukraine through his international rescue and relief organization, MPAC Northwest. He says the people of Ukraine are incredibly grateful, and as American politicians waver in their support for the country, the work his group is doing is more important than ever, a situation that hits this 25-year veteran firefighter in the heart.
That bell goes, and like these dudes are running to the truck, throwing on their body armor.
Wearing body armor is something this Kitsap County firefighter has never even had to consider.
These dudes are kicking ass and taking names every day.
Jake says even more appreciated than the technical training the Ukrainians are receiving is the emotional support from firefighting brethren on the other side of the globe. The war now in its fourth year with no end in sight.
The one thing that is the same everywhere is firefighters. I love these guys, especially in this moment, knowing that they're not forgotten.
Jake leaves for Ukraine on Thursday for his 10-day mission, a mission he hopes he doesn't have to repeat next year. In Kitsap County, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
Spring has sprung, and the tulips at the annual Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival in Oregon are as vibrant as ever, even to people who are colorblind, all thanks to a fancy pair of sunglasses. You don't have to see this to believe it. Have you ever been to the Tulip Festival or anything great across our area? Tell us about it, or really anything. Questions, comments, concerns, feedback, really whatever you want, just send them our way. The number, 208-321-5614. Please include your name so we can give you credit, and hashtag the 208 so we know it's for us. You never know if you'll see your comment live at the end of the show on the big board. Stay tuned. Hey, here's a really cool one. We're going to take you up to the annual Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival. This is in Woodburn, Oregon, where for the first time, the vibrant festival is offering a special pair of sunglasses for those who are colorblind. They help wearers experience the full spectrum of color. Drew Carney with our sister station in Portland shows us this.
Rows upon rows of vibrant color extending for what seems to be as far as the eye can see. That's the sensory experience that most people get when they visit the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival. But imagine how different the visit would be if you were colorblind.
I did not know I was colorblind until elementary school, so I found out then, and it just helped my parents realize, oh, that's why he puts together those really weird outfits.
Picking out outfits is one of the challenges that Jarrett and others like him who are colorblind have to deal with on a daily basis. In the past, he's also been denied the full color experience at the Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival, but not this year, thanks to the arrival of these, known as Enchroma glasses. Visitors with color vision deficiency can check them out at the Tulip Farms gift shop. When we look out at the landscape here, without the glasses on, what do you see?
So it's interesting because it's really hard to describe to somebody because they don't know what I see and I don't know what they see. It's like, oh, it's just green. It's just a muted green or something. And then I'd put these on. It's like pops with bright red or orange or something. And I would be doing this the whole time. I was doing it out here, just contrasting, comparing, like seeing, oh my God, there's so many things that I'm seeing differently that I didn't even know I was missing out on.
Some of the responses have been awesome. Seeing people trying them on for the first time, never being able to see that kind of color before, it's been awesome to hear their experience.
The festival offers sizes for adults and kids with 2 different varieties to accommodate different types of color blindness. And there's a test on site people can take to determine which variety is right for them.
Everybody is kind of a little bit different. I'm tan colorblind, and I'm 50 green, 50 red. Other people we've seen, they're 0 green or 0 red.
You have to take the test because if you try the tan versus pro-tan, it doesn't give the full effect versus the other.
It really is an incredible experience. From here at the Tulip Festival, a couple weeks ago at the Cherry Blossoms in downtown Portland. I didn't know they had so much color to them. I thought they were almost white. And then I put on the glasses. It's like one of those cases of like, wait, this is what you're seeing? Because I've been missing this. Oh, wow, I had no idea.
A live look outside on your Friday evening. It's been a very dry, calm day today after we had those strong winds today. They calmed down quite a bit to just breezy conditions. Magic Valley did have some showers earlier today as the end of that system exited east that we were experiencing over the past few days. It had some trickling showers, rain and snow earlier today, but they should be drying out by this point. Looking at the Treasure Valley for the next 12 hours, if you're planning on going out tonight, I would say it's a great night to be outside. We're going to see sunlight until 8:30 p.m. We'll dip down into the 50s about 8 p.m. so it'll be a little cool out there with a light breeze as well, and then below the 50s around 10 p.m. Early morning lows will be cold in some spots, below freezing, 32 in Mountain Home as well as Jerome, and then the mountain regions, even Stanley waking up to 14 degrees tomorrow morning. We will have some cloud development tomorrow morning as well that you can see here. Looking at our future cast, you can see that we have showers trickling in the afternoon. Sunday, it looks like most of those showers are going to stick to the west central mountains for your Easter forecast. And speaking of, in the Treasure Valley, your Easter forecast is looking very great. So west central mountains could get some showers on Easter, but this is what the Treasure Valley is looking like. Sunshine and into the mid 60s. We're looking at a high of 67 in Boise for tomorrow. Central mountains have a chance of a spot shower or two on Sunday as well, but it will be very brief in that period. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. We're warming up to 67 on Sunday, sticking in the 60s for the first half of the week.
All right, let's put this week to bed. Let's take a look at the big board. Susan in Meridian says the emotion from that firefighter training was palpable. So sad that even has to be in that position. I understand the training, but not for the reason they're having to do it. Yeah, an incredible story. We really appreciate getting to show that one here today. Our next comment says, Joe, I was given a pair of Enchromas, those glasses we were just showing you about, from my family. First time I tried them on, the experience brought tears to my eyes. I saw colors that I hadn't seen correctly. They don't fix your color blindness, but Freak Alley was mind-blowing. They enhance. Keith, thank you so much for sharing that first-person experience. Those Enchromas are amazing. Tammy writes, my grandfather would sell train tickets at the depot. My dad would go with his dad to the train depot, often sleeping on the benches while his dad worked. So many great memories from over the years. And finally, Joe, my grandfather was a Union Pacific electrician and helped wire the depot. He had many pictures of the opening of the depot that he gave to the Bannock Historical Museum. An amazing celebration. Thanks everyone for being a part of it. See you next.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.